how to make a bulkhead ladder. Now the first step is I looked at my bulkhead and I measured the distance between the bottom of the top whaler and the top of the bottom whaler. I'm going to use those as mounting surfaces, and I designed the ladder to fit in between those two whalers, or the mounting stud to slide in between those two whalers, so I could screw into the bottom one from a top and up into the top one. So this project is pretty simple. I started with a 12-foot or two 12-foot 2x6s. Of course, the measurements are going to vary for your bulkhead. I took the measurements in between those whalers, and then I divided up the steps. I ended up with a 12-inch spacing in between each step. And anywhere in that range, 11, 12, 13, even 14 inches would be fine. I'm just going to use a circular saw. So I marked all of the steps, and I'm just going to run the circular saw. I've set the depth to about 1 inch. And I'm going to make a bunch of grooves. You don't have to be specific with the width of the groove. You want it, pretty thin. The thinner you make them, the easier that wood will snap off, with the goal being to almost mill out the whole section so that when you slide each step in, they will fit nice and flush. I'm also going to use 2x6s for the steps. So all I'm doing here is I'm running, you can see my little pencil marks. I'm going to run down the length of the board, and I'm going to cut my bunch of slots at the location of each step. When I've got all the slots cut, I just take a screwdriver. You stick it in and apply a little bit of sideways pressure, and all of those little slots just snap off. Really is kind of an easy way. You could also do this with a router if you wanted to, but it's just a lot more work. Now, to clean up all of the little pieces that are still sticking up at the bottom of each one of those slots, I went back to the circular saw, and you can just go side to side. Just be real careful, go side to side, and you'll see that cleans up the entire bottom surface. Makes it nice and smooth. So that's each side, and then for the actual ladder steps, I cut a bunch of 18.5-inch pieces. I did that on a chop saw. I laid it all out on the flat driveway, and then I'm just going to screw them all together with 3-inch stainless steel screws. I wanted to use the stainless screws just because of the saltwater environment. I figured it'll last a lot longer. Don't forget the weight of each step is not really on the screw because we've notched it. The weight of each step is actually on the uprights. So even if those screws rotted out, the steps would still hold. Now notice I've left 2 steps out. Those are going to be the steps that are going to be used to mount to the whalers, and I'm going to use a slightly wider piece of wood for those. I had a couple scrap pieces of 2x10. If I was going to buy the wood, I would actually have bought 2x12s. That would have been even better. So anyway, I cut the 2x10s, the same 18.5 inches, and then you'll see in a second how I mounted these so that the one 2x10 screws into the top of the bottom whaler or the middle whaler, and the other 2x10 screws into the bottom of the top whaler. And then because I mounted this ladder right up against a piling, I was also able to put some 3-inch stainless screws securing it right into that piling. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is a fairly easy project. Check us out on the web at DIYEasyCrafts.com for a whole bunch of boating and fishing related do-it-yourself projects. Thank you very much for watching.